Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Camerascore. And this week we are going back into animation. Disney, Pixar, they own everything now. You get it, the conglomerate. But this week we're talking about Hoppers. And this is actually a very surprisingly good film from them, after a few that didn't, quite frankly, gel too well with what I was looking for. And that's not to say I was mad based on what I was looking for, it's just to say it wasn't the greatest film. But we are talking about Hoppers, and let's start with the positives.
Over here! Your life is in danger. You must do exactly as we say, Harry. LOL, I mean, Jerry. Drive now, rocket ship.
So the animation, as always, is great. That is one thing they never skimp on. But this time, there's surprising depth to the story. There's a lot of characters that you care about emotionally, moments you might cry, moments that hit almost so close to home that you're like, is this a kid's film? And I feel like if you're asking that question, that makes it a great kid's film. I'll say that's what this is. The deforestation and contending with nature mixed in with this complementary sci-fi plot of hopping and going into the Matrix. They even verbatim reference Avatar, which I think works directly to their credit. If you're going to take a concept or idea and you're not afraid to acknowledge that you're not necessarily stealing, but taking influence from it, it also makes it easier for the viewer to understand. And that's what they do here. I really love the main character's struggle, and I also love how her grandparent influences her care for nature, and then that she gets to see this effect of us humans taking over nature through a small area that she personally is connected to. It's just a really heartwarming but also heart-wrenching story mixed in with this cool sci-fi aspect of her becoming a hopper, essentially overtaking this electronic beaver that they come back as this creature able to understand them but not communicate to humans. The technology behind this, in real application, I don't know how in the world this works. Look, it would take someone far smarter than me to even theorize how this is done. But I love that they skip right over it. We don't need this scientific mumbo jumbo. It's a fictional world. It's like Avatar. They go into the creature. It is what it is. We don't need to know. Because when you try and explain it, you one, waste time, and two, your theory is probably not going to make sense anyway. But I love that they went into that in this film from a different perspective, a different angle. I was very skeptical at first, but they did a really, really good job. I will say the only negatives here.
This into this.
So let me get this straight. You created a fake animal.
Yes.
Which makes the other animals think you're an animal.
Yes.
Guys, this is like Avatar.
This is nothing like Avatar. Mabel, be careful.
Are with that teeter-tottering on it being a kid's film versus it not being a kid's film, I think there are some moments they could have capitalized on more, and I feel like a little bit of what they were going for in the story doesn't necessarily hit home as I wish it did. I think there are those emotional moments, also the points in the plot that are very fun, but a lot of it is a little predictable, and that can be said about a lot of kids' films, great things happening. But I think they don't delve deep enough in it for me. But that could be because, again, they're contending with the fact that this is a kid's film. Now, not all kids' films are made in that way. Across the Spider-Verse, one might say is a kid's film, but just has just as much appeal for adults as it does children. But this is more geared towards kids, the cute hopper, beavers, and all the themes that go into that are more geared towards them. There are some moments I wish they kind of hit a little harder on, and I do feel like the plot in and of itself of saving this little area isn't necessarily executed in the greatest of ways. But I believe little kids might not notice. I think kids are smarter than we give them credit for. I don't know. I think the world is ready for a resurgence of adult themes in kids' films, hitting hard once again. And I think that's what makes this film so great. I wish they dialed it up a little bit more. I love that scene where the butterfly comes out of the cocoon in almost this fantastic, horror-filled, gory way that it's reminiscent of those nasty transformations you'd see on the Animorphs book. But not enough of it for me personally. I would still give this film an 8 out of 10. I could potentially see a 9, maybe even higher for someone who's of a different demographic. But that's it for me. And that's just the camera score.